Luna glided through the crystal forest, her path marked by the faint, rhythmic hum of the trees. Every movement she made left a trail of fine, glowing dust, suspended in the cool air. She drifted low, her focus shifting to the forest floor where 3 lilies sat tightly curled, their petals pressed shut against the night. She hovered, steadying her breath, and extended her wand toward the center of the cluster. With a precise, deliberate tap, she struck the first petal. A spark jumped from the tip of her wand, sinking deep into the stem. The lily shuddered, then unfurled, releasing a soft, pulsing bioluminescence. She repeated the motion for the second and third flowers. One by one, they ignited, casting a steady, golden radiance across the mossy ground. The path ahead, previously lost in darkness, now stretched out in a clear, glowing line. Luna watched the light stabilize, her hands resting at her sides. She checked the perimeter, ensuring the light held firm, then hovered silently, waiting for the next shift in the woods. The forest was calm. The golden light from the lilies had barely settled when the air began to thicken. Luna tilted her head, sensing a sudden drop in pressure that made the fine dust around her swirl in erratic, jagged patterns. Above the canopy, the familiar deep purple of the night sky began to bleed. It started as a thin, jagged line of heat, then widened into a violent, burning orange that seared across the horizon. The forest floor, only seconds ago bathed in soft gold, flickered as the new, harsh light cast long, dancing shadows against the trees. Luna pulled her wand close, her eyes locked on the zenith. The clouds didn't just part, they were torn open. A massive, glowing shape emerged from the breach, trailing sparks that hissed as they hit the upper branches. It was heavy, descending with a sound like tearing metal that vibrated through the ground. Beneath her feet, the birds in the high branches took flight in a frantic, silent mass. Luna hovered, motionless, as the object accelerated. The impact hit the silver lake with a force that seemed to stop time. A massive, glowing shape submerged, and the water did not splash. It rose. A wall of liquid, heavy and shimmering, surged upward in a slow-motion arc, catching the burning orange light of the sky. Luna hung suspended in the air, her wings locked, watching the wave crest and hang for a heartbeat before it began to cascade back down. The sound arrived a second later, a deep, resonant boom that shook the very air she occupied. She did not blink. Her gaze remained fixed on the center of the lake, where the water continued to churn and boil. The ripples expanded outward, hitting the banks with rhythmic, heavy thuds. As the spray settled, the initial shock faded, replaced by a sharp, driving need to see what had fallen. She snapped her wings open, the sound of the snap echoing like a whip crack. With a single, powerful thrust, she darted forward, weaving through the shimmering trees that lined the shore. She did not look back at the forest. She accelerated, pushing her speed until the wind whistled past her ears, her eyes scanning the surface of the lake for any sign of movement amidst the settling foam. Luna skidded to a halt just inches above the surface of the silver lake. The water was still churning, but the center of the pool revealed the source of the crash. A massive form lay partially submerged, its bulk displacing the water and creating a whirlpool of foam. Luna drifted closer, her wings beating slowly. It was a star whale, but the celestial glow was failing. Thick, gray strands of shadow gloom clung to its skin. The substance pulsed with a sickly, rhythmic throb. Luna circled the creature, her eyes tracking the shadows. The whale did not fight. It lay heavy and still. Then, a low, mournful hum vibrated through the water. The hum rippled the surface, causing the surrounding trees to shudder. Luna watched the gray gloom tighten its grip. The silence returned. It was no longer peaceful. It was heavy with the weight of the creature's slow decay. Luna lowered her hand, fingers outstretched toward the whale's nose. She meant to brush away the clinging gray film, to find the warmth beneath the cold obstruction. The moment her skin neared the surface, the shadow gloom reacted. It did not just sit there. It surged. Dark, jagged strands lashed out like thorns, snapping at her fingers with a sound like dry wood breaking. Luna jerked her hand back, her breath hitching as a thin, stinging line appeared across her palm. She hovered, her grip tightening on her wand until her knuckles turned white. The whale let out another hum, weaker this time, the vibration barely disturbing the water. The gray mass pulsed, feeding on the creature's remaining light. Luna watched the glow beneath the whale's skin dim further. "Your light is fading," she whispered. "I must find the heart of the mountain to save you." She banked hard, her wings beating with sudden, frantic intensity. She turned away from the lake and dove toward the dark, yawning entrance of the mountain pass. Luna plunged into the mouth of the Cave of Mirrors. The transition was instant. The air did not just move. It hammered against her. A gale roared through the narrow passage, slamming into her body with the force of a physical wall. She tilted her frame, wings straining against the pressure, fighting to maintain a straight line through the swirling currents. The wind howled, a high-pitched scream that vibrated against the jagged stone walls. Suddenly, a violent gust caught her, throwing her off balance. Her grip failed. The wand slipped from her fingers, tumbling end over end toward a dark, bottomless crevice in the floor. Luna did not think. She tucked her wings and dove. She reached out, her fingers brushing the slick, freezing stone of the floor just as the wand slid toward the edge. She snatched the handle, her nails scraping against the rock, and pulled back hard. Her momentum carried her into a roll, her chest heaving as she came to a stop. She pressed her back against the wall, lungs burning, and gripped the wand until her hand ached. She pushed off the stone and drove herself forward. The tunnel ended abruptly, spilling her out onto the jagged mountain peak. The air here was thin and bit at her skin, but her focus remained fixed on the summit. There, resting on a pedestal of obsidian, sat the red crystal. It pulsed with a rhythmic, internal fire. Luna landed, her boots crunching on loose shale. She reached out, but the heat radiating from the surface forced her to hesitate. She braced her muscles, ignored the searing sensation against her palms, and gripped the stone. It felt like holding a living coal. She pulled it free from the rock, the weight dragging at her arms, and launched herself into the air. She dove back toward the lake, the crystal glowing brighter with every second of descent. The wind whistled past her, fanning the warmth into a steady, intense hum. She reached the center of the lake, hovering just inches above the trapped creature. The shadow gloom surged upward, sensing the approach of the light, but Luna did not falter. She raised the red crystal high above her head, locking her arms. A blinding burst of golden light erupted from the core, expanding outward like a physical tidal wave. The radiance slammed into the water, washing over the whale in a continuous searing sheet. The gray smoke did not just fade, it dissolved, tearing away from the creature's skin. The gray shroud shattered. Where the smoke had choked the surface, a new brilliance broke through. The star whale's skin, previously dull and heavy, began to pulse. Deep blues rippled across its flanks, followed by streaks of violet that glowed with the intensity of a nebula. The creature shifted. A low, resonant hum vibrated through the lake, sending ripples outward that slapped against the shore. The whale's massive wings unfurled, shedding water in a shimmering curtain. It beat them once, a powerful, rhythmic motion that pushed the lake water downward and forced Luna to bank sharply to stay upright. The whale surged upward, breaking the surface tension with a spray of silver droplets. It climbed higher, its body carving a path through the night air, leaving a trail of bioluminescence in its wake. Luna hovered in the center of the clearing. High above, the star whale reached the zenith of the night sky. Its body shifted, the points of light along its wings aligning with the existing stars, until it became indistinguishable from the constellation itself. It remained there, a fixed, glowing sentinel. Below, the forest floor began to change. The frantic energy of the battle dissipated, replaced by a slow, rhythmic pulse of bioluminescence that traveled from tree to tree. Luna descended, her movements heavy with the weight of the last hour. She landed on the broad, velvet surface of a giant lily petal. She folded her wings against her back and curled into the curve of the flower. The petal dipped slightly under her weight, rocking gently in the cool night air. She closed her eyes. The forest light dimmed to a steady, soft glow, matching the pace of her breathing. Above the canopy, the star whale drifted. In a wide, slow circle, its presence a silent anchor in the dark. The wind died down to a faint rustle in the leaves. The water of the lake smoothed into a mirror, reflecting the star pattern of the creature above. Luna's breathing deepened into the steady rhythm of sleep. The woods held their breath. The guardian watched from the heights, and the forest glowed with a quiet, unbroken peace that lasted until the first light of dawn.